they will become more equal by then. We will have better education, more democracy, I'm hoping, in Africa. So the actual market size, whether you're talking about doing good or earning a return, is significant, and it's significantly undercooked because we've had colonialism and wars and all sorts of things, which has meant that Africa has lagged in developmental terms. So the exciting thing for any businessman, whether they're a purposepreneur or they're a purposeful investor or just a normal investor, is that you can't let this rise of Africa get away from you. It's much like the rise of India or the rise of China over the last 25 years. It's happening, it's going to happen, and it's an inevitability. If that's an exponential opportunity, layer the next that I'm going to tell you about. And that is, layer the power of tech over that, which we know is exponential in every society, but in a growing society, for doing good and for making money, that is even more powerful. And then layer on top of that, this whole idea of latency, which I talked to the other day, which meant that, and it's allied to the first one, the population is massive, but the latent opportunity comes from the fact that if we just do things differently, we can create massive opportunity because they've been done so wrong for so long. And that's true of doing good, and it's true of making money here. Now, you know better than I, Alistair, that if you layer 3 exponential technologies on top of each other, and that's exactly what you've been talking about. So for me, this is the most exciting thing. And I'm not sure he's going to come at it understanding that Africa will represent 25% of the world's marketplace anyway in 30 or 40 years.
Well, we're going to plant that.
And that it's undercooked anyway. So there's 2 massive opportunities upon which technology can play their games.
Yeah. It's part of the leapfrog opportunity. Sorry, Alistair.
Yeah.
No, exactly. So I can see it. I mean, this is why I drove around. Like I thought this is insane. I couldn't believe how fast we can move compared to the rest of the world, Brett. So when you layer 3 technologies on top of each other, I had a board meeting on Friday night with people who work around smart cities, and I said, like, whoever thought about smart tourism? And I threw that out there, like Madikwe. Why do you have to be a gleaming city like Singapore or Dubai? How do you connect people on corridors between major metros and into like communities that need to be smart? And I suggested things like smart dustbins. Why do you have people walking around? You've got mentors, the people that you mentioned now. They can mentor people right across Africa, like the egg specialists and all that kind of stuff. Nobody in the world is thinking about that. So for me, not the question, but the proposition to Jeff is not, okay, thanks for the gloom story. I mean, we don't have to use those words, but like, do you realize that you're sitting on the last continent on Earth who has the fastest double exponential, which is like quadruple speed of the rest of humanity in the past 6,000 years? Like, this is why I climbed in my car and I thought, I can't believe what I'm seeing. It's insane power, but positive power sitting in the hands of Africans. Like, if you can't see it, you must be blind. And my question to him is exactly the rhetorical that I'm putting in front of you guys. Like, how do we harness that? Firstly? Well, I actually think we know how to harness it. That's why I drew on my walls. I've got something on the left here. How do we take Madikwe to become the first project in Africa to become the first digitized reserve for tourism in the world? Like, I could not believe that we could actually do this. It's not expensive. Yes, it's complicated, but like, when you get that right, you can replicate that all around the world. And then you start to design, you don't design a technology business. My question for Jeff is, you told me you're a tech entrepreneur. You're not. You're a deflationary business entrepreneur. And if we do the same thing in Africa and the business principles are designed on injecting deflation by default into the largest continent on Earth, you can significantly change what's happening with governance. You don't need government policy anymore. And that might be a little bit deep for that meeting, but it's just something I realized on the weekend, and I thought, whoo,
Yeah,
I
think
I'm on
there's going to be a follow-up where we can go crazy, but we want to keep the tone of this one just sort of sensible enough to not scare people completely.
Yeah,
that's the thinking.
So, Alistair, if you think about,
I understand, Craig. I'm only saying this in front of you guys. I mean, you've seen me when I work with people and I trust, and you saw me earlier today in a suit and tie when I work with a client. You'll keep it slow. It's going to be methodical. You're going to follow their approach, and we need to grow them up the curve. It's okay. It's just that I think you guys get it, and it's inspiring and real.
So the real exciting opportunity here is that for many countries in the past, I mean, take the rise of China, or India, actually, they used wage deflation to create competitive edge. In other words, we pay our people so little that no one else can compete with us, and therefore we can become the production areas of the world. The truth is, we don't need to use wage deflation. We can use tech deflation, as an alternative to that. And I really do believe that.
Absolutely.
Besides all opportunity and everything. Anyway, we are getting a bit beyond ourselves.
Yeah, no, we're getting excited, and we're not even on Thursday yet. Tanya, will you give some thought to how this can be made more relevant to the impact investors that we want to attract?
That's what I'm trying to just, because, if we go back to what Shane was saying earlier, which is what I was also trying to allude to, is that who's the audience? So if we have established entrepreneurs that's coming through, and we have investors who really want to know that where they're putting their money, it's actually impactful. And when I look at the questions, it kind of detracts from that. So for me, I'm just a bit, the questions I understand is put together because of Jeff and who he is, and what he can assist in terms of his knowledge that he has. But when I'm thinking about our entrepreneurs, and I'm thinking about the investors, they mainly will want to see, how do we get hold of these entrepreneurs that are purposepreneurs, and I don't know how we bring that through into this context.
Yeah, I think
that's what I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Because if you have investors there, what are you wanting to grab their attention for? What is there from based on our questions, and that will hopefully drive questions from the audience. When they leave, we want them to say, yes, we want to invest, so let's contact Craig, let's contact whoever, it's just that I'm struggling a bit with.
Can I respond with just some thoughts to how we would practically go about that? So tech is about ultimately driving access to enable economies of scale. It's the economies of scale that obviously drives the cost down. Mm-hmm. The kind of shift we need from our investors, and frankly from the entrepreneurs as well, but from the investors, and if you look at how you achieve success of economies and building a network, you almost need to set a price now of what the end would be. So the investors need to understand that they've got to invest long enough in capabilities and solution services underpinned by technology, obviously, but not necessarily just the infrastructure, in order to be able to get us to those economies. And that's something I've seen, that's what I've been struggling with. Every single platform initiative or economy we've spoken about, everybody goes too big, too many moving parts, too complex. And then you go back to a point solution, solving a point which has no capability to get to those economies. So to me, that's one of the critical things that I would love to explore. How have they got that right? How have we convinced investors to invest in something that allows us to have the environment that will allow the efficiencies of, the economies of scale for the efficiencies and the demonetization, etc. So that's at the crux of it.
It's a real problem. Do you have any ideas or suggestions that can help us, please? So you can have like the too big, too complicated, too far out, and then the reverting back to like a simple project that we know and trust and we've seen before. That middle ground might be the message that we have to send out to the folk that are attending, which are investors. And when I listen to you talk, I feel like that might be a good, strong theme to say, okay, we're going to stretch you a little bit. We're not going to get you to the red planet, and that's going to scare people. But this is enough of a safe leap to get you there. And I'm wondering, what does that message look like between us in terms of, so that's a theme. When you're an investor and you listen to us all talk, I feel like we all need to have that theme, which is not some of the wild stuff I mentioned just now.
Yeah,
And it's not a project that you've seen before.
Yeah, sorry, Alistair. Isn't it pretty much the theme that Brett's suggesting? I mean, we kind of need to wrap up. We could probably chat for another hour, but I don't think that would be fair on those of us that have young children in the room. So can we do the following? I will get the first draft of the questions, the first final draft of the questions done by tomorrow morning sometime. I'll alert you guys as to when that is. And then I started recording only when Brett started with that brilliant marketing perspective. So I'll share that. I'll share the recording of this last section, and can we then all review the questions and make the suggestions that we have to improve the questions. And we obviously want to close that off by, let's say, lunchtime on Wednesday at the latest, so that we've got the time for, well, I guess that'll give us another 24 hours to tweak if we need to. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So does that work for everybody? And we'll just keep working on Google Drive. On I've shared the actual presentation now, but you're welcome to. Yeah. You're welcome to keep your comments in the document on Google Docs, because that's easier than commenting in slides. But I'll keep moving stuff from there to the slides. So that's where you'll see where things are going and how it's flowing. Yes, Nomhle, sorry.
No, Craig, you actually answered my question. You are going to add on to those slides, because I was seeing that it was incomplete.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to finish updating. So the first draft update based on the current set of questions and any ideas that come to me as I'm doing that based on what Brett's just said and based on this discussion, I'll try and work in. And then if you guys give it a review and any additional thoughts on your, how you think we might really get to that point where we attract the 5 or 10 purposeful investors to 5 or 10 purposepreneurs, then we've met our objective. Any other questions?
Nope.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Brett, all good?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much. Shane, thank you so much. And you're still on mute, are you good?
All good, thank you.
Alistair, you're on mute, are you good?
Perfect.
Awesome. Tanya, thank you so much. I know this is probably a bit of a throwing you in the deep end, but we know you can do it. We're here to support you, so all good. Anything else? Awesome.
Yeah.
And Nomhle, you did say you're good, eh?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I
awesome.
did. Thanks, Greg.
Liesl had to leave. She was actually at her daughter's swimming training as usual at this kind of time of day, but I'll share this recording with her as well. So thanks, guys. Have a great evening, and I'll keep you posted on how this is unfolding.
Thanks, Greg.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Thank
Greg.
you. Cheers.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.